on that issue of the media, to the Congressman's point, Joe Concha, the Hill media reporter. Joe, what do you make of what the Congressman was just pointing out there, that there does seem, and I think he's making a very valid point, a fixation on the negative and trashing almost everything the president does, which is fine. We all have 24 hours of news networks to do whatever we want, but it wouldn't kill us to report on some of the positive developments. What do you think?
Absolutely, Neil. I mean, let's think about this. How many questions do we see during the press briefings just over the last couple of days in terms of the news that we've seen that has been positive towards the Trump administration? And that's not a rah-rah Trump thing. The types of things that affect people's lives. For instance, jobless claims at a 28-year low. Anybody going to ask any questions about that today? Doubtful.
Very good point.
Right? How about the surplus that just came out yesterday that was released by the Treasury Department as far as $182 billion surplus? That's a $76 billion increase from the year before. That's a 16-year high. Incredible. Is it going to be asked? No, we concentrate on the drama.
Right. And then the drama here is well, everything Russia related, and now talk that the president might be taping his conversations. That one, I think, is going to stick a while. And I'm wondering what you think of that and whether it should stick.
The Comey story will stick, is the question?
Well, the Comey, more to the point that he might have recorded that conversation he had with Comey and others.
No, nothing sticks. Neil, that's what I've noticed about this presidency. Everything burns off by noon, it seems, and then we're on to another big story. Think about where we were Monday, which seems like an eternity ago. Yeah. Remember the Sally Gates testimony, and everybody was talking about that? It's forgotten already.
But let me ask you, you're not a product of the Watergate era. I remember it very distinctly. I'm a little older than you. Okay, a lot older than you. And when Butterfield came out with that comment that the president tapes his conversations, well, that let Sam Ervin and everyone else go nuts. It changed the entire debate and ultimately brought down the Nixon presidency, if you think about it. Now, I'm not comparing the two here, but if we have a president who might be taping his conversations, doesn't that, at the very least, trigger aggressive media interest?
Absolutely it does, but you don't know with Trump whether he's just throwing it out there just because he acts so impulsively that you shouldn't take everything he says literally. I know that sounds crazy for me to say that, but I'm just basing that on precedent in terms of what he's done in the past. But I'm glad to see that there's a press briefing today, Neil, because he had tweeted out today that he was thinking that, well, maybe we should cancel it.
You read my mind about the next question. Should we have them? One of his arguments when they tweeted against them is that since we can't be, 100% accurate on our facts in real speed, real time, maybe submit your questions in writing. We'll get an answer back to you slowly, carefully in writing, because, we can't be perfect with this stuff. What do you think?
I think you can't cancel it. It's been around for 88 years. The written excuse I don't like. I think you have to alter it greatly, though. This is going to make some folks in the executive offices and cable news a little upset with this analysis, but it has to be taken off TV. Because here's what's happening. You have reporters that are trying to go viral by being as provocative and confrontational as possible, not because they're trying to get information, because they know that everybody's watching, particularly in the bubble, but this thing is a ratings killer. I mean, they're doing better than broadcast networks. So take it off TV, embargo it until it's over, take the theatrics out of it, but you'll like this part, Neil. I think that you have to rotate in the kinds of reporters that are at these press briefings, and I think at least one day a week it should strictly be, probably Fridays, because that's when jobs reports come out, for instance, at the beginning of every Friday of every month. I think you have to have strictly business reporters in there asking business questions. That gets us to the heart of the economy. That's the #1 issue for voters every 4 years. So let's start seeing some other questions besides Russia, Comey, leaks, drama, White House, and things that are actually substantive, like the China trade deal. And Trump is exactly right. That is real news that will not be asked about today because we're all about drama now, Neil.
Yeah, I know you're right about that. I like the business journalist question idea. But, Joe, I do want to step back for this and just get a sense of where you see the Trump presidency right now. We know he has had a very acrimonious relationship with the media, and how, or is it even going to get dialed down?
It will never get dialed down. This will be consistent. Truculent is the only word that comes to mind for the next 1,340 days, I believe it is at this point, because this is how it goes. This sells. It's a business thing with the media, Neil. I know there's vitriol towards the president because of ideology, because there's only 3 reporters in that press room that you're showing that are registered Republicans. There were 0 last year. So, yeah, that's it. But the business end of this, opposing Trump, being the opposition party that Steve Bannon described, that gets you better ratings, ratings on networks like MSNBC. It gets you more subscriptions at the New York Times when you play the opposition card as opposed to being mushy and centrist, because that just doesn't sell you. Almost like you got to take a side at this point. But it's good to know that there is some fair reporting still being done out there, and it isn't totally negative towards Trump all the time. So here's the bottom line, Neil. If he continues to do well with the economy, like the things we just talked about, unemployment rate at 4.4%, jobless claims at 28-year low, if he continues to do these trade deals that benefit people in the Rust Belt states, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, if he wins those states again, everything else doesn't matter. His approval ratings don't matter. Win those states, hold North Carolina or Florida, he wins again. And I think in those states, if you go out and actually talk to people outside the stupid bubble that we live in, you will see that they're probably not too upset with the job he's doing so far.
But I talked to a lot of media friends of mine, and you're right. I mean, we know many on the left, some on the right, and they hate him. They come out, they hate him. And then, by the way, he's given them some stuff to hate. I don't dismiss that, but I think the guy could walk on water, and the next day the headline in the New York Times would be, you know, President Trump got his feet wet. I mean, he can't win for love or money, you know.
Nope. For love or money, that's correct. But again, it doesn't matter, because I'll give you one last thought here.
Sure.
I think I've shared it with you before. The Hill did a survey of 59 newspapers right before the election. Who are you endorsing? 57 said Hillary Clinton. People were told how to think. This is who you should vote for and why. And what happened? That got Hillary Clinton a concession speech. So the media could be negative all at once. It doesn't have the influence remotely what it used to, because people simply don't trust the messenger anymore.
Well, it's sad but true. Joe Concha, thank you.
Good to see you, Neil.
Very, very much.